Most men think a hug is just a polite gesture. But what if I told you, in just a few seconds, a hug can completely change how she feels about you? The energy you bring into the hug matters far more than the physical act itself, because people don't just respond to touch, they respond to the feeling behind it. Before your arms even reach her, she has already picked up on your presence, your posture, your facial expression, your pace. All of it sends a message. If your energy feels nervous, rushed, or uncertain, the hug will carry that same discomfort. It won't matter how technically correct it is, it will feel off. On the other hand, when your energy is calm, grounded, and self-assured, the hug immediately feels different. There's no tension in your body, no need to prove anything, no hidden agenda. You're simply present in the moment. That kind of energy creates a sense of ease, and ease is what allows attraction to grow naturally. It makes her feel comfortable without you having to say a single word. This is why trying too hard often backfires. When you overthink the hug, where to place your hands, how long to hold, what it should lead to, you disconnect from the moment. Instead of being genuine, you become mechanical. And people can sense that. Authentic energy always feels better than perfect technique. Your mindset going in also plays a huge role. If you approach the hug seeking approval or hoping it will create attraction, you're already placing pressure on the interaction. But when you approach it as an expression of who you are, confident, relaxed, and emotionally in control, it becomes effortless. You're not trying to get something from the hug, you're bringing something into it. In the end, the hug is just a vehicle. What truly impacts her is the emotional experience you create within those few seconds, and that experience is shaped entirely by the energy you carry. Timing and duration are far more important than most people realize when it comes to a hug, because these two factors control the emotional rhythm of the connection. A hug is not just a physical gesture, it's a shared moment, and like any moment, its impact depends on how it unfolds. Rush it, and it feels transactional, like a routine greeting. Hold it too long without awareness, and it can feel awkward, even suffocating. The key is finding that natural flow, where the hug feels intentional and meaningful without overstaying its welcome. The first second of a hug sets the tone. How you enter, the speed of your approach, and how you position yourself all send subtle cues. A slow, deliberate approach signals confidence and presence, while a rushed or hesitant move communicates nervousness. That split-second decision can make her feel either comfortable and safe or uneasy and guarded. Timing here is about more than just when you initiate. It's about moving with awareness, letting the hug happen naturally instead of forcing it. Duration works hand in hand with timing. A hug that lasts just a fraction longer than expected creates a subtle emotional imprint. It's not about holding on to prolong the moment artificially. It's about feeling the connection fully before letting go. That pause, that slightly extended second, is often enough to make her feel a deeper sense of intimacy, warmth, and attraction. Conversely, if you pull away too quickly, the hug feels incomplete, leaving the emotional potential unrealized. If you linger too long without paying attention to cues, it can feel uncomfortable and awkward, breaking the moment. Mastering timing and duration means paying attention to both your energy and her subtle signals, allowing the hug to feel natural and impactful. In these few seconds, you can transform what could have been a forgettable gesture into a moment she remembers, simply by respecting the rhythm of connection. Subtle leadership through body language is one of the most powerful yet often overlooked tools for building attraction, especially in something as simple as a hug. Leadership in this context isn't about being aggressive or controlling. It's about quietly guiding the interaction with confidence, clarity, and awareness. When you take the lead with your posture, presence, and movement, it communicates strength and security without needing words. That kind of energy naturally draws people in, because humans are wired to respond to calm, confident signals. The way you position your body during a hug speaks volumes. Standing tall, keeping your shoulders relaxed, and holding your center of gravity steady conveys stability. This doesn't just make you look confident, it makes her feel safe in your presence. When someone feels safe, they can relax and be themselves, which deepens attraction naturally. Subtlety is key. You're not overpowering the hug, you're guiding it. For example, a gentle lead into the hug. A slight adjustment of your arms or a small shift of your stance can communicate direction and presence without seeming forceful. Facial expressions and eye contact also reinforce subtle leadership. A calm, relaxed expression paired with a brief moment of eye contact before or after the hug signals awareness and emotional control. It shows that you're fully present and intentional, which adds to the sense of leadership. The biggest mistake men make is confusing aggression or force with leadership. True leadership in a hug is invisible, like a current under the surface. It's felt more than seen. She may not consciously notice it, but she'll feel it in the way her body responds, how comfortable she feels, and the subtle excitement that arises in moments of trust and connection. Ultimately, attraction thrives in the presence of confident guidance. When your body language leads gently, intentionally, and with awareness, the hug becomes more than a gesture. It becomes an experience where she feels drawn to your presence naturally, without pressure or manipulation. Respecting comfort zones is one of the most overlooked aspects of building attraction, yet it's absolutely critical. A hug is more than just a physical action, it's a moment of vulnerability. When a woman steps into that space, she's letting you in, even if it's only for a few seconds. If you ignore her comfort or push beyond what feels natural, you break trust instantly. Attraction doesn't grow in pressure, it grows in safety. Showing that you are aware of her boundaries communicates respect, emotional intelligence, and self-control, all qualities that naturally draw her in. Respecting her comfort starts with awareness. Pay attention to her body language. Is she leaning in, relaxed, and open, or stiff and hesitant? Does she pull back slightly, or is she staying close? These signals tell you exactly how much space to give and how to adjust your touch. Following her cues shows that you are tuned in and considerate, which makes her feel safe. Safety, in turn, allows desire to develop. When someone feels safe, they can relax, enjoy the moment, and open up emotionally. It's also about pacing. Don't rush a hug or try to force intimacy. Instead, match her energy and timing, letting the interaction flow naturally. Even small gestures like a gentle hand placement or a respectful pause before pulling away signal that you are attentive to her comfort. Over time, this builds trust. She begins to associate you with a sense of ease, safety, and confidence, which are all highly attractive qualities. Finally, respecting comfort zones creates anticipation. When you show awareness and patience, she notices it subconsciously. She feels that you aren't there to manipulate her emotions or rush intimacy, and that restraint actually increases desire. Trust and desire are inseparable in human connection. By honoring her space, you strengthen both, making every touch, every hug, and every shared moment more powerful and magnetic. The way you exit a hug is often more memorable than the way you enter it, because the ending is what lingers in her mind and sets the emotional tone for the next interaction. Most people focus entirely on the approach, the timing, and the embrace itself. But the final moments, how you release, how you transition back to personal space, carry subtle cues that communicate confidence, emotional intelligence, and even attraction. A smooth, intentional exit reinforces the connection you just created, while a rushed or awkward pull-away can undo all the impact of the hug. Exiting a hug isn't about abruptly letting go, it's about maintaining presence until the moment naturally concludes. When you gradually and confidently release her, paired with a soft smile or a brief look in her eyes, you create a lingering emotional impression. That final connection tells her you were fully engaged, that the hug was intentional, and that your energy remains grounded even as physical contact ends. It's a subtle signal of control without dominance, a silent way of saying, I'm confident, aware, and comfortable with this interaction. The exit also affects anticipation and desire. When a hug ends gracefully, it leaves her with a sense of warmth and connection, creating a lingering emotional ripple that makes her think about the moment even after it's over. On the other hand, an abrupt or clumsy exit can leave her feeling disconnected, awkward, or unsure, which diminishes attraction. Timing the exit is equally important. Don't pull away too quickly, as it can feel dismissive, and don't linger unnaturally, as it can feel desperate or awkward. The ideal exit mirrors the same awareness you brought to the hug itself, observing her subtle cues, maintaining relaxed energy, and transitioning smoothly back to personal space. Ultimately, the exit transforms the hug from a simple gesture into a complete emotional experience. It's the final note in a small but powerful interaction, and when done with presence and intention, it leaves her feeling valued, intrigued, and naturally drawn to you. A hug is one of the simplest forms of physical connection, yet it's one of the most misunderstood. Most people treat it like a routine action, something automatic, something forgettable. But when done with awareness, presence, and intention, a hug becomes a moment that communicates confidence, warmth, and emotional depth without saying a single word. It's not about doing more, it's about doing it right. When you hug a woman, the first thing you need to understand is that she doesn't just feel your arms, she feels your energy. If you go in hesitant, unsure, or seeking validation, that's exactly what she picks up. But when you approach with calm confidence, grounded presence, and a relaxed mindset, the hug instantly feels different. It feels safe, it feels real, and most importantly, it feels intentional. Attraction doesn't start with the touch. It starts with the state you're in before the touch even happens. Then comes timing. Most men either rush the hug or hold on too long without awareness. Both mistakes break the moment. A powerful hug isn't about duration, it's about connection. When you hug her, be present for that brief moment. Don't rush out like you're uncomfortable, and don't linger like you're trying to force something. There's a natural rhythm to it, a second longer than expected, just enough to create a subtle emotional imprint. That small difference is what separates a forgettable hug from one she remembers. Your body language plays a bigger role than you think. The way you place your hands, the way you hold your posture, the way you guide the interaction, all of it communicates something. A confident hug isn't stiff or awkward, and it's definitely not overly aggressive. It's relaxed, controlled, and smooth. You're not asking for permission with your body, but you're also not ignoring her comfort. That balance creates a sense of leadership, and that's what naturally draws her in. At the same time, understanding boundaries is key. Attraction doesn't grow when someone feels pressured. It grows when they feel respected. When she senses that you're aware of her comfort and not trying to take more than the moment allows, it builds trust. And trust is what allows attraction to deepen. The strongest connections are never forced. They're invited through subtlety and awareness. And finally, how you end the hug matters more than how you start it. Most people don't think about this part, but it leaves the lasting impression. When you pull away, don't break the moment abruptly. Ease out of it. Maintain that same calm energy, maybe a slight smile, maybe brief eye contact. That transition from physical connection back to space is where the emotional impact settles in. It's what makes her feel something without fully understanding why. A hug seems simple on the surface, but when done with the right presence, timing, and awareness, it becomes a silent language of attraction, one that speaks louder than words ever could.